Raquel Flores Connection Corner, y'all. Wow, my wonderful, amazing producer extraordinaire Sia. She's amazing, isn't she? Why are you hiding back there, madame? Come on now, don't hide. But anyhow, guys, thank you so much. We were having such a live conversation with our panelists this morning. And let me tell y'all, you guys are in for a wonderful, wonderful treat, a wonderful message of hope, prosperity, and but also, we learn from our adversity. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful time out there. Today is Saturday. Yay! So, Messia, why are you hiding, Mama? She's like, I don't want to be on camera today. Yes, you are. Come on now. You're on mute, Mama. She's on mute. You're on mute. Yeah, you're on mute. Well, anyways, we're not sure what's going on, but we seem to be having some technical difficulties this morning. Restream has been really wonky as far as like this week. It really has. I've noticed that, but it's okay. We are going to make it work. This is going to be fantastic. Uh, I wanted to say hi to some people that are pulling up just yet. Let's see who's pulling up. Do we know? Do we have anyone? I definitely do want to say a shout out. Oh, I'm impatient. Jody, oh, don't give me a hard time this morning. It is a wonderful day. It's July 15th. I can't believe how fast this year is going. Like, it's ridiculous. Mekri Irfan, hi. Good morning, afternoon, wherever part of the world you're tuning in from. Just it's amazing. So let us know though where you are tuning in from because I definitely like to see that. Hey Daniel, good to see you. Good morning. Thank you so much, our friend from Switzerland. I love him. He's amazing. He's an amazing coach, doing great work with men. Hello, Vikas Dubey. I hope I didn't butcher that. Are you back, madam, or not? You have no idea what's going on, why it's muted. Oh my goodness! So the audience has to deal with my voice this whole time now. So Adriana Dawson, hey, keeping it 100. Shout out to you and Colin, man. Your show is fire. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for always dropping those golden nuggets perpetually. I love your show, and everybody should definitely check you out. Connect with Adriana Dawson, man. She's awesome. All right. Who else is pulling up, girls? And my cats, of course, they're going crazy in the background here. A lot of energy. They have the zoomies. Joshua Miranda, good morning. Buenos dias para mi gente latina. I see Mr. Dale Rodriguez, our fellow person from the UK. Hello, sir. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know it's almost evening, afternoon for you. Good morning, sister, Dr. Constance Lena. And shout out to you and your amazingness and all the work that you're doing. Rose fingers across that. Why do you always give me a hard time, my good Randy OG? You always give me a hard time. You're so cute. I love it. You make me laugh though. I'll try not to cry. I'll make a promise. I'll try not to cry today. Even though it is a very deep topic, and our panelists have quite a tremendous story. So I'll try not to. Okay. Jainika Misu, hello to you. I hope that you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in on this fantastic day. Tell us a little bit about your plans, what you're all doing today. I know after this, I'm going to spend some time with my kiddos, probably going to the water park, just that having that family time. And it's hot out, so we definitely want a good plunge on a hot summer day. So amazing, Miss Sia. Mhm. You're still not able to pull up? Nope. Well, I am not sure what's going on. Amicia has been muted. But
Is that a
there you
good
go.
thing? Can
There
you
you
hear me?
go. There you go.
This is my webcam. Hold on. I don't like the webcam audio. There's something going
Hey,
on with my audio. This morning has just been a shit show. Hear me now.
now we can loud and clear, and it's beautiful. Yeah.
Restream is pissing me off right now, everyone. Just so you know, production wise,
And
a lot
you
of
don't
challenges.
you don't
A lot
want to
of
piss
challenges
off
to Sam.
Sia.
Ooh, okay, and then sorry, I hit the wrong settings there. So everyone, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm here.
Yes, you are here, beautiful, illustrious, spectacular producer extraordinary. Is that was that enough descriptive?
Girl, seriously, you know you can handle this on your own. You're so funny. You're like, and I'm just by myself now. All
All by
by
myself.
yourself. You don't
Oh
want to be all
no.
by yourself. Yeah, no one has hired me for karaoke night. I don't know why.
Oh
Woman,
my god.
I've been hired to close out the night.
Ah, I see. Well, I mean, we still get to hear. Well, at least I do. I get to hear your voice on a daily basis. Your beautiful, beautiful
Yep.
singing voice from Chile. Saludos para ustedes, compatriotas. Muchas gracias. I had to throw in that Spanish in there, right? Yeah, because
And you
that's
need
what.
to.
So this is one thing that Sia and I've been talking that I will start, moving forward to actually incorporating a little bit more of my Latina flavor in there and catering to my Latina community. So I'll be mixing in my post. You'll see in my content as it moves forward. I'll be adding a little bit more español in there for everyone. So watch when I get to Portuguese. They'll be like, "What in the world?"
All I know is que linda.
Que linda. Yes, how beautiful. Sanjay, thank you so much for being here. Greetings to y'all. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get stuff started. How about we roll the intro and then we thank our sponsors? Let's do that.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Hey y'all, welcome to my corner. This is your girl Raquel, aka Raki. Step into our world of connections where I'm a proud Hounds of Business Pack leader, which is a community of entrepreneurs committed to sharing positivity, growing together, and never forgetting to inject some fun. Get to know amazing people in this safe space, so come and join me in my connection corner. Hey, hey, hey.
Can I put
All
some baby
right.
in my
Salsa
can I put some sippy
Saturday.
sippies? Can I put some sippy sippies in my coffee this morning? Because
It's
seriously, I feel like I'm already having one of those days.
it's and you know what? It is perfectly okay. It's perfectly okay. Have some fun in your cup. Why not? How about y'all? Let us know what y'all sipping on. I'm sipping on some coffee. There we go. Okay. And my
Just a
the animals in behind me.
I was gonna say, and just
Oh,
to put in
that's a cute
proportion,
mug.
the size of my mug. Mama needed coffee this
Oh my
morning.
goodness. So I was being a little nerdy today and it says, "Are we do you see that? I know you love this. You'll
Oh my
love this."
gosh. You're never going to find parking. Oh my gosh.
So for all of y'all, enjoy sipping on
Enjoy.
coffee
Hey,
over here.
love from Dallas, by the way. I was speaking of which.
Oh, mm.
Mm,
Cheers, my friends. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a fantastic morning. And we have quite a jam packed show. I really wanted to kind of like set the tone and just the foundation, lay the foundation on what exactly we're going to talk about today. It's about mental illness, mental wellness, and I definitely
wellness.
want you guys to wellness, sorry, wellness, and it's very important, right? So many of us are dealing with so many things, have dealt with so many things, and luckily, a lot of these individuals who are sponsors really, really support our missions, support our efforts, and rally around the efforts of actually promoting and raising awareness. So, thank you so much to our sponsors. I have Towsy Brands down there. Shout out to you, Janice Shokran, and for all the amazing things that you do for us and the amazing products and services that you have. So I appreciate you. Our one and only fearless leader, Mike Asherbrenner. Thank you so much. And congratulations on launching the man. Like this week was so eventful for everyone in the house community. So applause to you.
As you say.
Mhm. We love you and wish you nothing but the absolute best because you are amazing. So thank you so much. And Madame, you and your amazing company, Brilliant Bean Media. Woohoo! We wouldn't be here without you and your amazing team of individuals making it happen. So if y'all need digital marketing, anything with that, y'all know who to hit up. So Yay! Be My Blessing, the sweet deal. Shout out to you, Michael Carr, Tanya Eberhard. You guys are amazing individuals doing fantastic things in the world, and I love you all. I got my second shipment of honey, so I am happy.
Yes.
All right. And brand face as well, Tanya Eberhard. Amazing individuals who help people with their personal branding. So reach out to them. And yeah, man, thank you, sponsors, so much. Without you guys, it would not be possible. So who else is pulling up? I had a, oh, I wanted to shout out Kevin Grunewald. He's here in Texas. You know, he's one of the top recruiters here in the state. I wanted to give you a shout out. Everybody connect with him. I'll put his link in the comments later on. So everyone, Renee Casely Hafer, she was here last. Well, she was in the comments last week, and she was in Michael's show as well on Wednesday. And yeah, shout out to you, girl. We love you. I hope you're doing fantastic. I hope opportunities are coming to you. She is out in the market looking for opportunities. So go ahead and hit her up. She's amazing, man. I was so
She's
like,
a veteran.
wow.
She's also a veteran. Let's
Yes.
be very clean and clear here. She's done her duty to support us, and so this is our way of returning the favor and saying thank you, sir,
Yes.
for your service, Renee. And you guys, let's find her next big dream gig.
Yes, opportunity for sure. Oh my goodness. Is there something hot that you would like to talk about, Miss
Well,
Sia?
we're gonna drop it
Besides
like it's hot, dear
besides
friend,
the
because you know
let's
what? It is a sizzling summer, don't you think?
sizzling. Yes, ma'am. Let us know a little bit about that.
Well, so let's talk about sizzling summers because for those that are in Texas, it's overcast and it's going to be over 100 degrees. So that tells you how fun our temperatures are these days. But July 27th, that is a week from now. Wait, is it a week and a half from now? Oh my
A
gosh,
week and a half.
a week and a, oh my, look, peoples, that big pot of coffee is for a reason, okay? So the words are not coming out of my mouth, nor are they coming out of my brain. But 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're gonna have international podcasters and live streamers and content creators taste 5 sauces from the one and only Purple Tongue Hot Sauce Company out of Canada. So that's Michael Gervais. And by the way, mispronounced his name on Mike um, Sasha Banks show, so we gotta apologize to Mike on that one. It is Corvais, Michael Corvais, who is the founder of Purple Tongue Hot Sauce. And anyone that wants to participate with us, we are all about community and just having a little fun together. So we are going to be live streaming. Each and individual is going to be live streaming from their location. We have Mark Reed from Zen Sandwich is joining us from Japan.
Woohoo.
And then, of course, Soaring Profits out of Canada. And we've got Constance out of Dr. Constance Leland out of California. We've got you in Houston, unless you're coming up to Dallas, me in Dallas, and maybe potentially our guests might be conned into joining me. You know who you are. But hey, man, you guys, can you take the heat? It is just a fun thing that we're doing. And you know what? We might throw a cause on this thing. So, depends on, if we can get some fun activities inside. So anyone that wants to join us, by all means, I've already had folks out of Europe wanting to join us, which is really
Mm-hmm.
hella cool, but that'll be like 2 in the morning for you. So we just want to be respectful of everyone's time. But yeah, if you guys want to
Yes.
join us, absolutely. Did we not? Oh, we didn't put the link up. Oh my gosh. We will put the link up so you can buy the actual sauces that we'll be trying. And
Mm-hmm.
we'd love to have everyone join us. So it's a sizzling summer,
Absolutely.
guys, so come and have some fun.
I know, and it's going to be so much fun. I actually have them there waiting for me. If you see them, they're right there in the back. I'm so excited. It's like, yes, I love spicy food. I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm like scared of that hot one.
These are the first 2 these are the first 2 flavors, by the way, that are like you can tell by the little hot factor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, that's the hottest. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, these
Yeah.
are 2 hottest flavors.
Yeah.
I probably should
Yes.
organize that better. At any rate,
Yes.
but I have heard rumors Miss Constance,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. CJ Leland, cheated
Mm-hmm.
and already drank down literally drank down with our family the bottle of pineapple soy, I think she said it was, and she had to
Yes.
reorder a second batch because of it. So someone cheated.
You
Cheater, cheater,
cheated,
McCheater.
madam. No, but I mean, it's okay. That speaks volumes because we know it's great. Not it's like fantastic, right? So shout out to you, Michael, and Purple Tongue Hot Sauces. We're so excited. We're looking forward to it. What you got there, Missy?
So this is what happens when you don't pay attention, but you just wanna support your friends no matter what through thick and thin, and you don't pay attention. So, you guys, I wanted to support a bunch of wonderful women actually in this particular batch, that are in the hounds community. So if you want to learn more about the business of hounds community, check that out on LinkedIn. But a bunch of the women and additional authors got together and compiled an anthology called My Two Cents on self love.
Yes.
And so, for those that are or not entrepreneurs, it's very easy to forget about how you can talk to yourself affects how everything
Mhm.
else goes on in your life, right? And so these
Mhm.
wonderful authors shared their vision, their story, their experiences. And so I want to be a good friend, and I'm a book person. I prefer books. So I ordered the book. And then when it arrived, I'm like, this is a really big book. And then I realized it's a notebook. So I will buy your guys' book, but just pay attention. They have a wonderful notebook companion for the actual book itself. So, but anyway, just want to give a shout out that they have a notebook. I had no idea. So scan
Which
that
is
QR code, guys, because um, yeah,
yeah.
it's really amazing, and it supports our hounds community members. So we're all about, again, supporting our
All
peeps.
right, because all ships rise with the tide, and that's really good. So we threw up the QR code there directly for to purchase the book, which is amazing. It's such a collaboration amongst these individuals, like not only just the hounds, but outside of the hounds as well. But we love to highlight our own hounds, just because we are amazing people doing amazing things for the world. So thank you so much for that. Oh my goodness. Yes, keep scanning, y'all. We're going to keep throwing these QR codes there towards the end as well, just because, we love supporting. This is what the Connection Corner is about. It's a place where it's a safe space above all, where people can connect, really network, and really find people just to do business with. If it leads that route, we like the approach of saying relationships do come first, and we are a testament of that, because I know I can pick up the phone and call C at 3 in the morning if I'm having like a meltdown or some sort.
Girl,
But
I was up with you this. I was up this morning. I Insomnia is a real problem, you guys. Just so you know.
yes, it really does. It really does affect as well. The quality when you need to show up for a 9 in the morning show.
Yeah,
I
who
just
picked this time? Who picked this time? Guests that we're about to announce. Who picked this time? Do you not
yes,
know
I know.
I'm a night owl? Jeez.
That is true. I mean, at least you get some sleep, not like Dr. Leland. Oh my God, does she ever sleep? We
That woman does
wonder,
not
right?
sleep. No, legit. Like, yeah, she's
Oh.
like one of those like I can sleep off 4 hours people. Like, I don't understand that. Like, yeah, if I don't have my 8 hours, yeah, forget about. So what you're gonna get today is a result of 3.
All right.
So
Well, we will love three. We will make it work with three. But how about two? We have two fantastic guests waiting backstage, waiting for us to hush so that we can bring them up so they can tell the story. Amazing story of resilience, and triumph in the face of adversity. So, without further ado, I'd like to bring our guests up so they can tell us their story and just tell us exactly who they are and what they're doing for the world. So, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here, Todd.
Todd,
Ah,
Applause.
Lila, easy.
hello, hello.
Well, let me tell you, I'm a little, starstruck over here because you come from such an amazing, family who's been in the light of fame. I'm not
Mm.
going to ruin it for everyone. I would like for you to say that, but tell us a little bit about who Todd Blyleven is and, what you do.
Well, first of all, I have to say, hola, ¿cómo estás? Right?
Oh,
Yeah. Throw a
yay!
little Spanish down.
All right.
Uh, yeah, thank you so much for having me on. This is so cool. You guys do an amazing job. I'm like overwhelmed. Chris and I are texting each other in the back, and we're like, this is crazy. This is awesome. So awesome. So my name is Todd. I grew up on a Major League Baseball field. My dad, Burt Blyleven, played for 23 years in the big leagues. It allowed us to travel all over the country, and he opened up the door for me to really stay at his hip the entire career up until I was probably in high school. So as a young boy, I was traveling around with him and the team. Got an opportunity to be around some of the greatest players that played the game, and they were my heroes, my brothers, my uncles, my best friends. I would play little, Army stuff with the players on the mounds of these incredible fields and take batting practice. And, it really allowed me to be around champions and people that learned on a daily basis, if not even a per pitch or a per second basis, on how to deal with their own failure in their life and then how to celebrate, successes real quick. So it was a really amazing opportunity to do that. I was a part of 2 World Series with the 1979 Pittsburgh Pirates and then the 1987 Minnesota Twins. So that was truly amazing, just to go through those experiences. So I played professional baseball. I ended up, I was a pretty good high school player and college player and whatnot. Uh, Played for about 7 years, 7.5 years, up and down. When I got done, I went through a serious depression. All of that, I'll try to keep it short. But then ended up getting back into baseball as a Major League Baseball scout, and I ended up signing about 26 guys that got to the professional level as far as the big
Wow.
leagues. So that was awesome. One being Troy Tulowitzki, which ended up being an amazing all-star. So super awesome to be around the game, learn the back end of the game in terms of the operations. And it's just been a blessing. Everywhere I've gone, people, I think when you approach a job or you approach life in itself and you're open-minded to accepting tutoring, in terms of like what they want to pour out in their knowledge, if you listen, amazing things can happen, and so I had
Mhm.
some incredible people, some that opened up their world to me in the corporate space. I spent 13 years in the sports product, working for global sports product companies, which was awesome, and learned so much there. And now I own a sports technology company and co-founder of the Walking Tall movement, which is an incredible mental health platform. And we've got more
Wow.
coming. We're building some software that's, I think, going to blow everybody's mind in terms of helping people find therapists. So we're really
Well,
excited.
my mind is blown. Let me tell you that. Let's start with
Mm.
that, because just the illustrious career you've had, the exposure to a winning mentality, right, stemming from your earlier days as a child, seeing growing up at the hip of your father, like you said. I can only imagine how that contributed to the man you are today, and the father you are to your kids, and the husband you are to your wife. I just
Mm.
I'm like, I love baseball. My girls, their father was drafted by the Pirates in 1999 from the Dominican Republic, so that is my tie to the Pirates.
Wow.
And I saw that your dad wore number 22, which is like my
Yeah.
favorite number. So
Oh, wow.
uh,
Yeah.
it's like it's amazing. So as I've started learning about your story, it's just one of those things that, oh my gosh, things happen for a reason, and people come together for bigger purposes that we may
Yeah.
not understand at the moment. So shout out to your father, who's an amazing Hall of Famer, and Bert, by 11, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm just so starstruck. It's amazing. But speak about a little bit about where that led you to where you are nowadays, with the movement, with the Walk Tall movement. But how did we get to that part?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So in on October 1st, 2017, my wife and a number of other family members, we call them family, that we've known, these say younger kids that are adults in their early 20s since they were younger people. We were at a country concert in Las Vegas called the Route 91 Country Music Harvest Festival, and Jason Aldean was the last singer of the third night of this festival, and we had gone before. Um, and you go into a festival like anything, right? You go to a concert. We've probably all been to concerts of some sort of celebration, and you're going to release. You're going to maybe reset your life in certain ways, and maybe leave all the bad and the darkness behind. And this happened to be a weekend where I know I was looking for more self reset through our my relationship with my wife, myself, and just go and have fun. There was a lot of pressure. We had just moved to Texas from Southern California a couple months before.
Wow.
Our kids were having a hard time in terms of just the adjustment. So there was a lot going on. And so this weekend, we had always gone to Vegas to really just have fun, to go party. And so I wanted to be able to
Mhm.
set the stage for that, because when we entered that venue. That's the feeling that we had, was pure love, pure joy, excitement. We had a great weekend of fun, and this was the last artist, and one of my favorite artists. And so I was really excited to see him. And we normally always rushed up on the stage. All the girls would be up on the stage, during the final artist of the night, and the guys would sit back about 10 feet, and we'd drink our beers and hanging out. But this time we stayed back about 20 yards from the stage, just because we had a clearing. We were dancing, and we were all together, which was really odd in this particular setting. And a couple songs in, I'm dancing with one of my nieces that I call her my niece. And you start to hear a couple popping sounds, and you don't really recognize what that is. And then unfortunately you hear machine gun fire. And
Oh my
uh,
goodness.
at first, we're on the far right kind of corner of the venue. Stages right there, almost, left center to us. And there's a wall that separates the venue to Las Vegas Boulevard. And then you've got the casinos on the right side. And so you're thinking maybe it was a drive-by, maybe it was something going on, but law enforcement's not really doing anything. And then all of a sudden, then it got real. It just happened, and people went down, and Jason Aldean stops playing and runs off the stage. And then you realize you're being attacked, and there's gunfire coming right at you, and people are being hit. And so you're on your knee. And I was thankful to have recognized where the muzzle flash was coming from on the 32nd floor of Mandalay Bay. And I knew we were sitting ducks. And so uh, we got everybody up, and we started to run in between rounds. And, as you're running for your life, all you're trying to do is think about being as big and as tall as you can to try to protect your wife, protect those in front of you. And if God forbid a bullet comes in your direction, you're praying that you get that and not your wife. And you're just trying to get her out. And that was my main purpose, and my main goal was to try to get her out, get her to safety. So we ran to a sheltered Budweiser booth that had, that was metal. And then I was able to get her out and my family out to the street, and then start running north. And at that point, I recognized the person carrying someone out that had been injured. I went to help him, and we laid her lifeless body down.
Mm,
And at that
yeah.
point, just something overcame me, and I knew there was, oh my God, there was going to be so much chaos and so many people that needed help. So I ran right to my wife. I gave her a kiss, told her to go on, and I'm going back in. And my brother-in-law looked at me like, "What? What do you?" I said,
Mm,
"Just go, keep running north. I'll find you." And I ran back in. And to
wow.
fast forward through that whole experience, when I first ran in, I found a woman that was elderly, and she was shot. And I picked her up and brought her to a location where I figured, this is a safe spot. It's by a squad car.
Hmm.
Um, I'm going to try to go back and forth and bring people in. But as I went in, more people, everybody was coming out, but people were grabbing me and saying, "Hey, what can I do to help?" A blonde haired 5 foot nothing nurse, trauma nurse, says, "What can I do?" I said, "Ma'am, you need to put your hands on those people." That woman ended up creating 3 triage centers
Wow.
on Giles Street that helped probably hundreds of people stay alive. I mean, just an incredible hero. And so, that's all I was trying to do. I'm not a trained medic. I'm not a trained individual in this type of situation, but I knew I had 2 legs that worked and 2 arms, and I was strong. And I'm just going to go back and forth and lift people up. And that's what I did. I carried probably about 30 people out over my shoulder. I ripped
Yeah.
my entire left side up. I had hernias and all kinds of stuff. But at one point, you lay a woman down, and as gently as what you're trying to be with this one particular girl that haunts my memory all the time, um, you know, she passes in my arms. And here you are, and you're holding this younger girl in your arms, and you're like, oh my God. And I lock eyes with another individual that's coming over, and he's kind of this EMT guy, and he looks at me and he's checking her pulse, and we just stared at each other for a couple seconds, just realizing like where we were at and the pain that we were both feeling. But he proceeded to do what he needed to do, and I got back up and I did what I needed to do. And at that point, you're just trying to help as many people as you can, no matter what.
Right.
And so it was 8 hours of that. You thought you were under attack and all these things. Ended up at the end of the night with 2 SWAT officers putting their arms on my shoulders. Of course, I was covered in stuff from
Yeah. Yeah.
victims. And they said, sir, you can stand down. And I fell to my knees in front of probably 500-600 people that were all congregated into a ballroom where SWAT had moved everybody. And I just broke down, and the amount of support that I saw, not only through the experience of that, where more people were coming back to help, more people were coming out of their hiding spot and running in with me and helping people, and the love and everything. I mean, it was just like, it was incredible. But at that moment when I'm down in my knees, I had so many people come up and put their hands on my shoulders
Mm-hmm.
and say thank you, and just took care of me, and they lifted me up. And so when I got home to Dallas, and I'll end with this, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of how this all started, this whole movement part for me
Mm-hmm.
personally, was I got into my truck, and there I am. I'm at the DFW airport, and I'm confused. Obviously, I've got a lot of stuff going on in my head. I got a call from an individual that was a friend of my dad's, that was former military combat vet. He said, listen, this is who I am. This is where I've been. I know where you're at mentally. I know the struggle you're feeling right now. And this is what your next 72 hours is going to look like. And he gave me a survival guide to really push forward over the next 72 hours and understanding my nightmares, my headaches. And he gave me he became a rock for me. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I needed. And I was at that point, and we'll get into this later, but
Mm-hmm.
I became approachable, and I became vulnerable, and I was not raised that way. I was raised no blood, no foul. You suppress all your emotions. You're tough.
Mm-hmm.
But I melted. So the next guest, we were introduced to the same experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up having an opportunity to be that rock in that moment, and that person that gave him his next 72 hours
Mm-hmm.
of what his life was going to look like. And we've been unbelievable brothers, friends since.
Well, let me
Yeah.
tell you, Todd, thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you for being so vulnerable. I know that this is such a deep, heavy topic, but one that must be talked about. I will also share, once Chris comes up, a little piece of me, and so how it ties us all up, in this same journey. But it's encouraging to see that you gave courage to so many others on that fateful night, right? Something came over you that you were like, I need to step up. I need to lift people up physically, and also, speaking metaphorically, that you lifted them up amidst tragedy, and you helped in whichever way you could. You put yourself out there. I mean, you're not a small person. You are a tall, big dude. So you were a target, and you still, something like I said, it's you were meant to be there, as an angel, to shield those who felt they couldn't run, who felt that they didn't know what to do. So for that, I thank you. I know it's been years that it's happened, but I know that is still, you're working through this, you're healing through it as well. And our next guest can share that story with us too, why, how you guys became together, and are now pushing one of the biggest movements that I've ever seen, in regards to mental wellness. So welcome to the show, Chris. I am so happy that you're here. I am not going to butcher your last name, so please go ahead and just say it.
Sure. Yeah, I don't blame you. Not too many can get it right. I always joke and say I have like every vowel and consonant in the alphabet in my first and last name. My parents didn't do me any justice naming me Christopher Thomas Melazewski, right? When you got a Z and a W,
Yikes.
you know you're in for some trouble. But thank you for having me. It's an honor of mine here to be with you, Raki and
Yay.
Sia. and thank you for your interest in both Todd and I in the Walking Tall movement. But how I fit into this story, like Todd, I myself am a mass shooting survivor. And so professionally, I am the director of recreation for the Park District of Highland Park. And I've been with that organization for about 10 years, and it's an amazing place and it's an amazing community. For those that don't know, Highland Park is very affluent. It's a North Shore suburb of Chicago. Michael Jordan still has a home in the community. Many Chicago Bears players, athletes, musicians, the list goes on and on. And so part of my responsibilities as one of the directors of recreation for the Park District is I am the co-chair of the 4th of July parade for the community. And I've been so for about the last 5 or 6 years, and it's always been an exciting day for the community. And obviously, parades around the 4th are certainly something we as Americans look forward to. But sadly, on this day, at about 10:14, at 10:14, 14 minutes after the parade started, a killer opened fire and began to shoot parade attendees and shooting over those in the parade. And so at about 10:14, I immediately heard the shots. I was, as I said, the co-chair of the parade. I was about a half a block away from where the shooter was located. And I heard the first rounds go off. And I was about 10 feet away from a coworker of mine. And I put my head down and I thought, well, who's shooting fireworks at a parade? Like, what kind of asshole would do that? You know, there's kids everywhere. There's thousands of people. Like, you don't shoot fireworks at a parade. My next thought was, well, where was the color guard? So, you know, considering I've been the co-chair for many years, I know the route forwards and backwards. I could tell you 1 through 63, the floats in order, et cetera, and so on. And so I thought, well, maybe the color guard was shooting blanks. And then I thought, well, no, the color guard hasn't shot blanks ever. And then I heard it again, and it was a discernible. And I looked at my coworker, and she looked at me, and she said, "What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?" And I said to her, "Stay calm, and start pushing everybody south." And so we had about 35 staff members working that day. They started working to push all the hundreds, if not thousands, of people waiting to enter the parade south. And then I began to run north as people from the actual parade route were starting to flee and almost stampede me. And so in the immediate aftermath, for about a half hour, I just sprinted around as best I could, helping individuals that were injured, ensuring everybody was safe, trying to get them out of harm's way. At about a half hour, the chaos subsided. Everybody was hiding, sheltering in place. And I got a call from our recreation center that there was about 10 people sheltering in place there, that they didn't want to be there. And so from there, I drove my vehicle to another facility, and I drove people from the building they were in to their cars in the parking lot to ensure they had safe access to their vehicles to get home. Then from there, I went back to central location where the command center was. We had at that time every firefighter and police car and ambulance from every nearing town in about 30 miles. There was a huge fleet. And from there, then I worked with law enforcement and devised a plan as the killer was still on the loose. We had 13 staff members sheltering in place in strangers' homes. And so about 4 hours after the shooting occurred, I worked with law enforcement, and we drove down the streets of Highland Park in rescue vehicles, FBI rescue Army SWAT vehicles, and rescued 13 staff members that were scattered throughout town. And then from there, I was made aware that there were still beachgoers. We have a public beach on Highland Park. We share a shoreline with Lake Michigan, and so there was about 80 people at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon still celebrating the 4th of July, drinking their beer, grilling their dogs and burgers. And the killer was still on the loose. And so I worked with law enforcement. We went to the beach. I personally went to every group, introduced myself, let them know what was going on in the community, and instructed them to leave. And we did that, vacated 80 people in about 35 minutes, got them off, and from there, went back to central location and was able to work with law enforcement, helping provide them some provisions, set up their command station, answer any questions they may have about the event. And like Todd, it was about 8 hours or there. I was in the community that day completing those tasks. And, it was I say it was the worst day of my life. 7 people sadly lost theirs, and nearly 50 more were physically wounded. And as I often say, countless amounts of people were mentally wounded. And so that was July 4th, 2022. And not but 3 days later, I get a text message out of the blue from a gentleman who I knew who his father was, because I, like Todd, have a long history in the game of baseball. I coached college baseball for 10 years. I was a Division I coach at the University of Iowa, where I played on scholarship as a Division I athlete. And then I coached also at Valparaiso University. So I have about 15 years of Division I baseball experience, the highest level of amateur baseball in the nation. And Todd and I had a mutual friend, a former coworker of mine at Iowa, is now the assistant director of the American Baseball Coaches Association. And he had interviewed Todd on his podcast. And as the news was coming, I was getting text messages, as you can imagine, from hundreds of people in the immediates.
Of
And one was
course.
Ryan Brownlee.
Mhm.
And 3 days later, I get a text message from Todd, and it says, "Hey, Ryan Brownlee asked me to reach out to you. I was in Las Vegas. I'm here for you. Here's what I did to recover. Here's what you're about to go through." And it just created the most amazing brotherhood, friendship, bond that I've ever had in my life for somebody that's not blood. And
Yeah.
and Todd and I have been inseparable. And fast forward to January, we started this movement. And so
Yes.
without it being too heavy, we want to get into some of the fun. And but yeah, in January we started the Walking Tall movement, and it's just a story in itself. But without our experiences, it certainly would not be.
That's what I was going to say, that yes, all in the majority of some things, they do start that root of it may not be all bliss and happiness. It may be rooted in tragedy, but the idea is, how do you go above that? How do you stand tall and walk tall after that? And so I praise you for the movement that you have started. So tell us, go back to that wonderful January moment in 2023 that brought you even closer, and exactly what is walking tall.
Todd, why don't you take it? Because you got the text from me that you were probably thinking I'm out of my mind. So how did you, what was your response when I texted you, like, man, we got to do something about this?
Well, going back to my moment, when I got back that next morning after sleeping in my own bed, I felt this inner pull to tell a story, to try to. I knew there was something more. Love was going to conquer in the end of this. There's no way that hate was going to win in my life and anybody that I could ever spread, my message to. And so that's been this buildup of, like, I have this story. I'm not sure. I've spoken at a couple churches. I've spoken at some different places, telling the story of where my boots took me, but there was never really an actionable item other than just love more, And so all of a sudden, Chris sends me this text on January 16th and says, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing something good with what happened with us that was so bad?" And I said, "Man, I think about this all the time. What do you have in mind?" So he starts rambling off, because he's the idea guy. And I mean, he's super brilliant. And he starts talking about, well, what about a podcast? And what about working with like college programs and ABCA, which is the American, getting back with Ryan Brownlee, right? And so we start talking about maybe this idea on just kind of one or two forums of talking, and then it just grows. Then it's like, okay, well, what are we going to call this? Well, let's talk Walking Tall. That was the end. I love that whole mentality, because when we were knocked down, somebody came in and lifted us up
Yes.
and taught us how to walk tall again. So then it branched off to Dr. Vanetta LaRosa that I had been working with, because her son is part of my whole sports tech stuff. And I'm like, "Hey, Doc," like, I mean, I don't call her Doc, I call her Vanetta, but I'm like, "Hey, Vanetta, I've told you about Chris," because I mentioned, and I said, "He wants to do this. What do you think?" And she goes, "Oh my gosh, I'm in. Like, this is amazing. I want to be able to be a part of this." So that's really where the three of us got together and started thinking about just sharing stories of adversity to try to help people understand that, you know what? if you're down, it's actually strong to be vulnerable. It's actually okay for the toughest sons of bitches in our world to actually turn around and say, hey, I need help. This is my
Mhm.
story. And I'm hoping that it resonates with somebody that might be going through the same thing. It's not all mass shooting. It's talking about cancer. It's talking about getting yelled at. It's talking about brain injuries. It's talking about spinal cord. It's talking about everything, just your daily life of stress. You're
Mhm.
not alone with this. So that's where we started kind of coming up with these action items of being more approachable in our life. And if you're not approachable, then you're not giving someone an opportunity to share their tragedy or how they can become more vulnerable. If we're vulnerable in our life and more approachable, it creates trust. And when all of a sudden that happens, there's magic, right? That happens. And there's love and there's empathy and you're feeling better and all that weight lifts off and you know you're not alone. You're part of this community. And
Mhm.
so if it hadn't been for Chris to really spark this, and he's been really the main kind of master puppeteer with, I'm just the big monkey that comes in and tells a story. But Chris is like, it's awesome. And Dr. LaRosa brings an amazing educational platform to this. She tells us, why we're feeling these things. And so it's been
Mhm.
amazing. But Chris, did I miss anything?
No, and you're not a big monkey.
Like to be a
And
monkey.
it's true. Obviously, a part of the story that I didn't tell in December, I was in Arizona for a wedding with my family, and my grandmother has been near and dear to my heart, and she's been very important in my life. And she got admitted into hospice in December while I was at that wedding, and I was going to rush home to tell her I love her and wish her tell her thank you for all she did for me in her life as she kind of ended. And I didn't get to do that, and so I was really hurt. And that's what really kind of spawned me reaching out to Todd, like, we got to do something better. And so we started this idea phase, and I think it was literally like 2 weeks, where we just literally had our logo built. We had this whole conversation about a podcast, and as Todd said, we have a piece of technology we're building, and we have many other initiatives within our movement that we want to bring to people to just prove that vulnerability is strength, and that you can open yourself up and let people know how you're feeling, what you're experiencing, because not only is that going to help somebody else, but also a little dirty secret I say about Walking Tall, and Todd can attest to this too, is that it's healing for us, to
Yes.
express ourselves and to let people know what's going on in our lives instead of swallowing it or bottling it up, and to the point of physical illness, or sadly, some folks, even guests on our shows, have had suicide attempts or suicidal ideation and things of that nature. And that's not my
Mhm.
path, and that's not Todd's. And so to prevent those thoughts, we have to be vulnerable, and we have to express our feelings, and we have to share our thoughts. And hopefully we can give others the strength to do so by being as vulnerable as we are. And
Mm.
so we've just been doing, a lot. We've been very fortunate to be guests on many other amazing podcasts and events like this, and we've had amazing guests ourselves. We've sponsored some pretty cool events and getting our word out there. See you, you're rocking the shirt
Mhm.
and the cup. So it's just
Yes.
There we
been
go.
we've just
Yes.
been so
Walking tall.
fortunate, to take something that's the worst of humanity, of which we both experienced, and then our intent is to bring out the best,
Oh
and
my
and
gosh.
that's what we're here for.
I'm so glad that you said that. And I mean, I know I mentioned earlier in the program that kind of I had something that I hadn't shared, and definitely I want to. I think this is the moment to kind of tie it all in. I grew up in El Salvador, and for many individuals who don't know, it was literally ravaged by a dumb civil war back in the day. And as a child, I still at this moment suffer from PTSD because of all the war related activities that were happening at them. I used to sleep under a mattress for the fear that I was going to get hit by a bullet.
Mm.
We would find bullet casings and around our sleeping area because up over there in El Salvador, like the roofs were not made of like really sturdy materials. Bullets will just pop in. And so the sound of like gunshots, the sound of fireworks triggers me.
Mm.
And sometimes even it goes to like the balloon, like an inflated balloon. So I know my kids suffer whenever it's like birthdays because I can't even deal with them because I just feel that they're going to pop at any time. And that is a trigger for me. So as I start opening up and speaking about this, this is healing. It is healing for me. It is a healing process. So as you guys mentioned that, I'm like, damn right. This is a healing process. And I know this is a small, the more that I talk about it, the more that I really share my story and turn it into something positive for other individuals to learn from, the more healing is going to come back for me. So I wanted to share that piece just because so I get it. I get it. And it's up to us to actually make something foundational to stand on, stand tall, and walk really, really tall moving forward. So I commend you guys for what you're
Um, Raquel, I'm so sorry that you went through that as a child and that affects you. And, that's one thing to really talk about too, is that when you go through your trauma, no matter what it is, right? It doesn't go away. It just doesn't. And, the whole mindset of just get over it in our culture, and especially in the United States, like we lose somebody and we're just supposed to get over something over a week or 3 days. And we don't have to, you really don't. It's part of your own fabric now. It's woven into your being. And so I think the approachability part and being vulnerable and being able to recognize that, and it's okay too, if you're having a bad day and you're going to work, we should be able to walk into our own work or walk up to our manager and say, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna let you know, like, I had a bad night. My experience that I had when I was a child or whatever, it just kind of resurfaced. So I'm here, but I just want to let you know I might not be 100%. And that manager should be approachable and vulnerable enough to be able to say, hey, you want to just grab a cup of coffee real quick before we start our day? I want you to be an efficient worker, right? But we need to be efficient people first. And
Mhm.
I think like you sharing your story, that was amazing. It's a step of just now we all know more about you. Like we probably know more about you than some of your friends that have known you for 20 years know about you. And we
Yes.
know like there's a connection there. We're going to be more empathetic to you now, right? And it's
Yes.
going to create a stronger relationship and love and everything else. So that was really powerful. But I did a podcast with a first responder group recently, and I get a lot of first responders talking to me. These are I kind of use the analogy of you all when you put your badges on, or anybody in uniform, nurses, doctors, EMTs, animal control, like anybody that goes out to help somebody or help a living thing. When you go out there, you're tough. Like you've checked the box, you're tough. You don't need to even prove anything else. You're a tough individual and you're working to help our society, our world, no matter where you are in the
Mhm.
globe. But that comes with a lot of baggage, right? And so being tough is one thing, but understanding that you need to release and you need to create that peer support or have those rocks around you to be able to tell somebody when you're down. And so there's a lot of amazing people that were like, everybody's doing so good. You guys are doing great and just having us on and sharing this story. So we need more of that. And
Yeah.
I'm
And
really excited about that.
it doesn't surprise me, Raki, that she told me before the show I had to roll my R's, so I don't want to disappoint. But it doesn't surprise me, and Todd can attest, and I can certainly state, as I tell people who don't know my experience. Quick story: I was doing a personality assessment. And they were going to give me like my top 10 skill sets, right? And I was meeting with the worker, and we were going through my test results. And she said, "You seem like a pretty positive person. Are you positive?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I'd like to think of myself as positive, but it's been really hard as of late." And she said, "Well, why?" And I said, "Well, I was in this mass shooting, and I have PTSD, and my world is cloudy right now." And she said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry you were in the mass shooting." She said, "Can I tell you something?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." She said, 2 years ago, we were in Myrtle Beach on spring break, my family and my parents. My father swam out to ocean and he got ripped into a riptide. The lifeguards swam out to save him, couldn't do it. So here you have this woman with her two children, her husband, and her mother watching her father drown. Okay, they
Oh
couldn't
my
they
word.
couldn't they couldn't resuscitate him. So here he was lifeless now on the beach. Now, had I not made myself vulnerable and told this nice woman about my experience, she was just dying to tell somebody. I just felt it in her. She was looking for an avenue to say, hey, this is on my mind. I lost my father. It's eating me alive. And then I said to her, well, I'm going through some EMDR. Have you heard about that? And she said, I've been wondering about EMDR. Can you tell me about it? So literally an hour later, we stopped my whole personality assessment. I couldn't even tell you what my results were. And we just got to talking about EMDR, my experience, her experience, and vulnerability. And so Raki, by us telling our story today, it doesn't surprise me that you did what you did and you feel comfortable to make yourself vulnerable as well. And that's really the strength of our movement.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I like I said, I wanted. Sorry, my daughter is like telling me she's hungry, but yeah, it's one of those things that it's very important for me to share because I feel that we're setting the example. Not there's power in vulnerability, but at the same time, you're having that courage. That nudge can be that one thing that the other person needs just to be like, okay, I need help, or I just need to tell the world. I need to tell someone. I need to tell a soul what I'm going through in hopes that maybe not understanding, fully understanding, or trying to help, at least just get it out because sometimes carrying those things is a heavy burden. So thank you so much for that. I know, Sia, you wanted to say something.
Oh, I wasn't really. I'm like reading these comments and trying to keep track.
Oh,
So we're having chat issues, and I apologize. Normally we have the scrolling, but for some odd reason we're getting some funkiness. So I figured, guys, and I did put it up there. Please scan the QR code to learn more about the Walking Tall movement. I'm purposely going to leave that up there because I think this is so much more important than our normal chats, unfortunately. So I just didn't want to detract from our conversation. You guys are amazing. I'm so sorry what you guys have gone through. Like, I haven't gone through anything of this nature at all. And so, for people like me, I feel like I'm the majority, right? That we're fortunate that we have not had this type of trauma in our lives. And it's just inspiring because, life isn't simple, right? Everyone's life journey isn't simple to begin with. And what you guys are saying is this: crap happened to us, like horrible crap happened to us. But you know what? We're going to hold each other's hands and we're going to pull each other up. All ships rise with the tide. And that's why I just love you guys so much. And that's why, can we just talk real quick about this, Chris? Can you just
Yes,
explain a little bit?
yes.
HP cares for Cooper because, quite frankly, I don't know if you realize HP also, is Hewlett Packard, which is my old company. So I was
Oh,
like, "You got HP to sponsor you guys?" And I was
no.
like excited. So I think you need to reach out to them to make it official. But can you tell
I
me
like that
exactly what?
idea. We actually need some sponsorship for Walking Tall. We have many ideas, and so Todd, put it in the notes. HP Hewlett Packard is going to be a sponsor of ours.
Yeah, oh yeah, we better be
But
careful
no,
about that.
but see, listen, you and the Hounds and Raki, you guys were just so instrumental in helping us spread the word. We were very fortunate on July 8th. The Walking Tall movement was able to collaborate with the National Wrestling Alliance and its owner, Billy Corgan, the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins. If you don't know, as I said, he owns this wrestling company. It's the oldest professional wrestling company in the United States. And Billy is also a resident of Highland Park, and he was impacted as well by the shooting, of which I was present at. And so we were fortunate enough in Walking Tall to be able to sponsor HP Cares for Cooper, which was a live wrestling event in Highland Park at the Park District where I work. And all the proceeds from that event went to benefit Cooper Roberts, who is the youngest victim of our experience. At the time, he was 8 and sadly shot in the back, and he's now wheelchair bound. And we're working towards helping him retrofit his house so he can have an accessible life and a happy life, and make it easier for him to work towards his goal of walking once again. And so we were so fortunate. Billy allowed for us to sell merchandise with the NWA logo on it and our logo on it. He gave us copyrights for the most amazing song Today. Our team put together a cool reel of wrestling videos, and our merchandise we were selling all to the tune of Today, which is amazing in itself. And so these are the types of things we wish to bring into the world, aside from just sharing our story and bringing others to the table to be vulnerable themselves. We want to put our money where our mouth is. We want to bring good into the world, and we want to basically be seen. And we want to help carry this mental health movement that we think can help heal the world. Because let's face it, whatever's going on in society as it relates to mental health isn't good enough. And
No.
it's going to take people like the four of us and everybody else listening to carry this movement forward, so that way we can help heal and get through these mental health hurdles that we all experience. You don't have to be in a mass shooting. You could have been in a car crash. You could have seen a domestic violence incident. You could have been arrested as a child for stealing. Whatever the case may be, you have some trauma in your life, and hiding it is not healthy. And that's what we're here to tell the world.
And
Yeah,
or you could have just been a bystander or something like that, right? You could have
that's
just witnessed it on TV, and I'm like, it doesn't
that's
necessarily have
right.
to put you in the middle, zone zero, but it's one of those things that mental wellness encompasses so many things, and trauma
Mhm.
encompasses so many things, and it means different things to different people. And so to not to play down on what y'all been through, which is, oh my gosh, I cannot imagine, but other people experience it differently. So
Okay.
it's a plea, it's a call out for people to say join. You cannot do it alone. You're not alone. Don't try to do it alone. We're here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
and I want to just say real quick too. I see, and Todd, I know your daughter wants to eat, Raki, so I don't want to keep you too long. But the other thing I want to just say is, I see some of our military community, Jamie and Josh, and some of the other folks that I know that I've also had in my life, either through the movement or previous to my experience. We truly want to be a resource, and we want to extend that olive branch to the military community, first responders community, so on and so forth, because we understand exactly what it is to a degree they go through now. And so we've had great support from hounds like Jamie, or my friend Josh, who I've known since Little League Baseball, who served in the Coast Guard, and we've had other Marines on the show TJ Baudet and Christopher Brown. And so we want to extend that olive branch, and we want to be a resource. And because trauma is trauma, you don't have to be in a mass shooting. You don't have to, experience what you experience, Rocky,
Right.
or anybody else for that matter. We want to just be there for everybody, no matter what. And certainly our military community and first responders community is that as well.
Yeah, I think too, I'm reading some of the comments from people just, pouring their love out on the screen. And it's so awesome to see, people want to share their stories. And that's what this is all about, right? I saw one comment that somebody in their workplace is actually, they're practicing mental health and making sure that the well-being of their employees are right on. And that's where it starts. We just need to be more vulnerable, open up our minds, and like what you were saying, Rocky, is that
Roll those
it's
R's,
not
man.
just
Come on, you don't want to get in
yeah,
trouble.
it's just not a first person thing, like, I mean, my dad is struggling with things. My mom, if you watch something on the news and it triggers something that maybe it was a bad experience, now you're affected. So find your rocks, find somebody that has similarity. And, when it comes to therapy, the whole point to therapy is trying to find a therapist that you can truly open up to. You can't go to therapy and hold back. So find the therapist, do your research, make sure that therapist has practiced, in giving therapy to people like what you have experienced. That way, when you go to therapy, like I found my angel, Diane in Plano, she's amazing. I went through EMDR for about a year and a half, and EMDR therapy really helped me a ton remember and process everything about it. So be able to talk to somebody that you can really open up with. Otherwise, it's just you're holding back, and that's not going to do you any good. You always want that fear to be in front of you. Don't let it be back here in the back part of your mind where it hurts and you're having those nightmares. You might still have the nightmares, but at least it's in front of you, and I can see it, I can process it, I can cry. And that's
Mm-hmm.
coming from a guy that never cries.
Yeah.
I was raised super tough. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you're also writing poetry now too, tough
I
guy.
am.
I
Yeah,
love it. Oh my God, tell us about
So
that.
listen, what you two don't know is Todd, as he's well into his journey, has become one of the more artistic men that I've gotten to know. He's written some poetry. He actually has recited it on some other podcasts. We just filmed a show the other day where he wrote the most beautiful poem about walking tall. So I don't know, Todd. I want to ask. You want to read it?
Oh my
oh
gosh.
boy.
Right?
That'd be
Can he
awesome.
read his poetry? I know we're running short on
No,
time, but
What a lovely
Todd, I don't want to embarrass
surprise.
you. You could say no, but it's inspirational. And what I said to him is, please put this on our homepage.
Oh my
I
gosh.
want this.
This is a
So you got to
treat.
hear it.
Yes, please
Yeah.
do us the honor.
God, Chris.
All right.
All right.
Listen, you do this so people can hear
Well-
it. You don't do it just to hide it.
All right. So
Make yourself vulnerable.
this is
Let's
so
go.
funny. Okay, here we go. In the depths of despair, a soul did sway, yearning to find strength in a brand new way. Through the shadows they wandered, feeling small, seeking the courage to rise and stand tall. Whispers of doubt echoed deep within, fear and isolation held them captive akin. But a glimmer of hope, like a distant call, guided their steps towards being approachable. They learned to shed masks, the walls they wore, embracing vulnerability, opening the door. In sharing their struggles, a weight did lift, a newfound freedom, a soul's precious gift. With each heartfelt connection, they grew strong, discovering an approachability where they belong. A tapestry of empathy woven thread by thread, walking tall, no longer filled the dread. For in being approachable, they found the key to heal, to inspire, and set their spirit free. Now they walk the path with heads held high, a beacon of light reaching for the sky. So let us all learn from the courageous movement to be approachable, our heart's content. For in walking tall, embracing one and all, we create a world where compassion walks tall.
Oh my God.
Ooh-wee.
Gosh, come on, Todd.
tell
You're
you
not
he's good?
helping. I was not supposed to.
Did I tell you he's good? That's not. He's got others too.
Ooh.
I wrote a country
Ooh.
song. It's being worked on, and I got a book.
He's got a song being written. Yeah, we got some good stuff
Like,
going.
what you see the positive things that can come across out of all the things that we've been through, and I think this is one of the reasons why I am here today doing what I am doing, because I want to spread love. I want to spread joy from all the poverty, from all the suffering, from everything that I went through as a child. I just want to give everything that is here in my heart. I want to share with the world. And Todd, I commend you for just exploring those creative ideas. Keep at it, because it will feed your soul at the end of the night. So, Tia, please.
Okay, look, I am not one to be called emotional. I mean, I'm emotional as an excitable, but the feels like that, like you almost triggered a tear. Almost. Just kidding. No, actually, no,
That's
I'm kind of
saying a
tearing up
lot,
right now.
Todd.
And it's
That's saying a lot,
it
brother.
is kind of saying a lot. No, honestly, Todd, here's a funny thing. And I'm gonna pivot us just slightly, because this has been such a heady conversation. Because to me, I feel like we need a part 2, Rocky. And guys, if you're open to coming back, would love to do a part 2, because I feel like this discussion was, we entered a tunnel. We entered the darkness, right? And I feel like part 2 would be like, but here comes the light. Because what you guys are doing, there's so much more. And I know me and Chris, we're both idea people. So we've been like Tasmanian deviling it with each other. Like, it's almost a little frightening how much, Chris, you're very similar to
Todd
me.
knows. He gets annoyed with me. I'm texting him at midnight. I got an idea. Can you talk?
That is, and you know what though? The whole thing is you need that dynamic, right? And so I think it's just really awesome to see you two. You were found because the universe put you together, right? And I think it is just an amazing thing to see you guys. But I do want to say something about the universe and coming together, and why I personally, truly, really, I advocate you guys 100%. Because the mission is right. Your message is right. What you guys are trying to accomplish is so needed today, particularly now more than ever. I feel like, I think the timing is right generationally to talk about mental wellness. And let's be honest, you guys. I mean, Todd, you and I are, similarly aged. Our parents were not ones to be like, oh, let me get in my feels. They're like, no, we're going to suppress it, move on. And, are you literally, are you bleeding? No. Okay, move on. You're not bleeding. Then your mental health is not the same thing as a physical pain, right? Yeah. So, on that note about universe though, and coming together, I have to tell everyone this, because I just want to leave people with more positive and happy views, and just randomness of life, and why this matters is that Todd apparently and I have lived very parallel lives, but we've never met. So let me just take you back in time. So we meet Chris because of my other podcast, Not on This. And he was like, "Hey, that's a great podcast." And he's just trying to hustle, trying to introduce himself. We start talking. He's like, "You need to talk to Todd." And so Todd and I start chatting it up. And it turns out not only does Todd live, like literally, we can jog to each other's houses. We are that close to each other
Yeah.
randomly, but also apparently Todd's been stalking me all my life. We grew up, went to rival high schools.
Yep.
He pitched a no-hitter on my baseball field in high school twice, apparently.
And broke my jaw.
Who's counting? Who's counting? Who's counting?
Like, who's counting on that? And on top of that, so I remember I was a track cross country person. So when baseball was going, we were running for cross country practice or whatever. So when you guys would be warming up or whatever before games, we would have to do our laps around. So the odds are high we probably ran into each other, but never realized it. And then on top of that, just going even back further in time, you guys, he knew my 6th grade boyfriend because he went to a different high school at that time called Modern Day, which is hilarious. So shout out Cale Carter. Hi,
Yep,
boo.
yep.
Hope you're well.
That's right.
Like,
So weird.
That's a shameless. You already have a man, Sia. Come on.
But here's the funny thing is like, but to me, walking tall represents this because we were living paralyzed. We didn't even know it, but here we are for a reason. You know, life puts you together for a reason. I really, truly, firmly believe it. And so that's why, you know, people wonder, like, God, Sia, you're kind of zealous. We're like, seriously, you're wearing the t-shirt, you're buying the mugs, you're talking about, you know, Todd, Chris, and Dr. Vanetta all the time. And I'm like, because I feel like you guys are on that upsurge. The time is right. And so anyone that's asking, please scan, please learn more. I think I did the Walking Tall thing to go to merchandise. Obviously, we didn't talk about this, but I want to set the tone for the next conversation is these guys are self-funding this, you guys. This is not a, you know, not yet. They have discovered, Chris and Todd and Dr. Vanetta are like, you know what? We think this is something that everyone needs. And they literally put their own money where their mouth is. And at some point, they can't feed Walking Tall if they can't feed their own family. And so when we're saying, hey, please support the cause, if you can't donate, then share the movement. Hashtag walk tall wherever you go, right? Those little simple things are what matters and what helps and what brings awareness. And, you know, with some new stuff coming down the pipe, cannot tell you yet because I know I'm not allowed to, but you guys, so much bigger and better things are coming down. That, you know, if you can get in early to help you guys, please, 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 please do. It doesn't cost much to get this awesome mug. Cooper, like I said, he was a young child that was affected by the shooting and he's paralyzed now as a result of it. You know, he's going to have forever long-term care issues and challenges and costs and his poor family and neighbors and friends and all that good stuff. I mean, there's so much more. It's not just a situation, it's the whole ecosystem beyond it that matters. Our whole system of healthcare and mental wellness needs revamping. Accessibility to find the right therapist for you, Todd, hint, hint, hint. You know, that challenge alone is incredible because not every therapist is going to vibe with each individual's needs, right? Right, Todd? I mean, so I kind of went on my own Sia rant, and I just want you guys to know that I love you like love song babies. And
You're amazing. You're absolutely amazing. You know,
I'll do that. Come on.
Sia and I got a chance to meet.
How do they do that?
Yeah, we got a chance to meet in person. She's an amazing individual. I mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah, this has just been. I can't. You know, it's so funny. Todd and I and Dr. LaRosa talk about this all the time. You know, in January 16th, when we started this ideation phase, and we said, oh, this is going to happen, and we're going to do this, and we're going to meet, and it's going to be worldwide, and we're going to start a worldwide support group, and this or that. And you never really think it's possible. And then 2 weeks ago, I have a man from London, England, start a GoFundMe to send me to a mental health conference in the UK. And I've been invited on a podcast from Ireland about mental health. And we meet the two beautiful ladies that we're sharing this stage with today in Texas. And so it's working. And, you know, our word is spreading. And we don't expect financial support. We just expect and hope that people could spread awareness about who we are, what we're trying to do, and give us a listen. And we hope that if you do take an opportunity to listen to one of our shows, you would then go and subscribe to our monthly newsletter where we're giving out mental health tips and tricks. And this coming month, we have a cool music one. Todd and I and Dr. Rosa talk about our music interest and all these things.
We're going into keynote speaking.
Yeah, we have so many opportunities here to just help. And that's what we want to do. And so please spread our word, like both you, Raki, and Sia have been doing. We can't be. We're so appreciative of all your support.
Yeah,
So
Well,
thank you for having us on.
I must say, it's coming from my heart because I feel it. It's genuine. It's authentic, and above all, one of the elemental things that brings me back and keeps me doing this on every single day is the aspect of community, leading with kindness, spreading joy everywhere you go, and positivity. So you guys are doing that very same thing, helping the world one person at a time. So I commend you and I thank you for allowing us to be part of this. And Raquel Flores' Connection Corner, and I know the Hounds, I know Brilliant Beam are behind you 135%. I don't know why it was a random number. I'm just letting you know
thank you.
it's full force. Uh, oh my gosh. I know we went way over time. So we definitely have to do part two because we had so many other things to cover.
And maybe for part 2, we can get Dr. LaRosa on.
Yes.
Oh, that would be
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
Yeah.
It's like I'm sad that you couldn't be here, but maybe that's why things worked out the way they did because we needed a part 2 and you needed to be in it. So,
Yeah.
guys, oh my gosh, any parting nuggets, anything that you like to say, and you just, gosh, I'm speechless. Let me tell you that.
I would just say, I mean, just keep following us. We're going to be moving. I mean, we're moving. We're walking tall, right? So we're putting some new stuff on the website. But we know this goes beyond a podcast. This is a movement. This is a culture. This is what we want to try to create. We want to be able to like Sia's wearing that shirt. I want my end goal would be that if you're having a bad day, you're grabbing that shirt to lift you up and walk tall. And yes, there's the financial part of things, but we want to give back. Like, let's start some real tangible things that are just going to, give hope to people that are down. So, but thank you so much. Gracias, por favor. Right?
Okay, so you're giving me ideas.
Not only do you write poetry, you speak
You're
Spanish.
giving me
Oh my
ideas
gosh.
because I'm gonna do a Spanish program. I'm gonna
Spanish
do it in
version.
Spanish. I'm gonna do a Spanish version.
That's
I'm
great.
putting it out there. So we're gonna ideate after this. Oh Jesus. Okay. All right.
All right. Well, listen, ladies and Todd, you guys both know, and everybody here, if you've listened to our show, you guys know we always sign off. And I want you guys to sign off your own way, but we usually tell people 2 words before we end our show. So you guys want to join us in that before you end it your way?
Absolutely. Let's do that.
All right. Well, you guys lead. We always let our guests lead, but since this is your show, you guys could let listeners know what to do before next time.
All right. Well, just telling you guys, thank you so much for staying. Please come back for part 2. We were going to have so much more, and these fantastic guests have been shy of illustrious. I just want to say that remember, you're not alone. This is a community. This is a safe space, and always remember to walk tall.
Walk tall.
Walk
everybody.
tall.
Walk
Walk
tall.
tall,
Have a great
everybody.
week, everybody. See you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us, and I hope our chat inspired you to make a new connection. Please like and subscribe, and let's build a great community in our little corner where we get serious business done by injecting fun. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, come back to Raquel's Connection Corner.